Welcome back to another video. So I'm now on my way to my parents. It is 5:30 on Wednesday evening. We are now going into week 4 of the block, so things are starting to get heavier. But to be fair, tonight everything should be okay. I think deadlifts will be the only thing tonight that are like hard work, but that'll be fine. I'm trying to go into deadlifts with like a really positive mindset at the moment, and I think especially like I've been thinking about it a lot today, like I need to just commit and go into deadlifts with the same mindset that I go into squats and bench of just, it's on the program, it's going to be done no matter what. And that's how I'm trying to approach deadlifts. I feel like I'm shaking this so much in my hand, sorry. So yeah, now I'm going to head to my parents and get all of those done. So let's just see how we get on.
If you rockin' with it, put your hands up.
Okay, so squats are done. They all moved really well, but they just felt, I don't say they felt hard, I just felt like I butchered them. Like everything moved easy. Like my top set, I definitely had like 3 or 4 reps in reserve at least. Like it was no more than like an RP7 absolute maximum, which is fine, that's the plan. And my back off 7s at 135 felt incredibly easy. Like I could have just kept going, but they just felt a bit sloppy, I guess is the easiest way to describe it. But to be honest, I am incredibly tired, so it was 7:30ish when I started actually training. I think when I finished warming up and whatever else and got under the bar. And I've been like in bed by 9 the last few nights, and I feel like my body has been switching off by this sort of time the last few nights, so that's probably not helping matters. Like I just generally feel pretty tired, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I'm really hoping that there's going to be a slight change in my schedule soon. I need to kind of finalise some stuff, but I'm hoping that I will be able to basically train earlier on a Wednesday and just rearrange some stuff during the week, but I don't know yet, so I'm going to wait and see. I need to sort some stuff out for that. But if that is the case, then I can actually prioritise this session, because at the moment this session is literally just work all day and then come home, eat, train. And like my training is kind of, I don't want to say it's rushed, like I make sure I have enough time to train, and no matter how late I finish, I get everything done. Like I will never not get this full session done, but it's like I don't really want to be training until 10, 10:30 on a Wednesday night if I can help it, especially with the primary deadlifts on this day. Like this is my longest session of the week now because I don't deadlift on Saturday anymore, so kind of need to make sure I prioritise it a little bit more. But it's just hard to obviously balance working ridiculous hours like I do and just everything else in life, as well as training and being the athlete. So yeah, my little moan. But actually no, squats were fine. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do next week, to be honest, on this secondary day. I need to really be sensible in my decision making for the rest of this block to line myself up to have the best end of block Saturday session that I can with squats and bench. I'm more worried about squats than bench, to be fair, because I always taper bench back a little bit at the end of the block anyway. But I might trial doing that for squats as well, especially because the next 2 weekends are so manic for me that it's not going to be very likely that I feel 100% anyway. But I should probably stop rambling and just get on the bench. But yeah, I guess you'll see my decisions along the way anyway. So yeah, gonna set up and bench now.
Even if we're apart, we're getting burned by this first degree. Getting close, but I'm still stuck in the underground. I can't help but falling into settle down. I can tell by the look in your eyes, you're not ready to go. I'm lost with my head in the clouds, so I don't really know. Standing by the edge, not looking down, 'cause I want you to know. Waiting for the interstellar light. I don't need a reason to show. I know it's all about.
Okay, so just excuse the state of me through this entire video. Bench is done. I'm in such like a mixed mind about it. So I'm really happy. Like, I would say it was a 3 count single at 110. It might have been slightly sort of short, like more like a 2.5 count, but it was the closest to a solid 3 count single I've ever done at 110. It was by far the longest pause I've ever done at 110. I had zero doubt in my mind that I was going to get it, even as it started to slow down off my chest. Like, I knew I still had it. My butt stayed down, which is incredible for me on a grindy rep. And I didn't hover it on my chest either, like I actually stopped on my chest. So, incredibly happy with that. Even if it was slow, I did have to kind of remind myself that the way I'm programming bench at the moment, week 4 is supposed to be bloody difficult. Like, I taper my bench off on week 5 because typically for me, time to peak for bench is 4 weeks. So in order to line everything up to week 5, I do like a build up and a taper almost effect with bench. So this is typically like the hardest day of the week for me on bench anyway. I mean, I only comp bench twice a week, but this Wednesday session I always find harder than my Saturday session. And yeah, I did back off 5s, all 4 sets at 102.5, which again, my butt stayed down, I think, on all of them. They weren't easy, but there was no doubt at any point that I had it. Yeah, and I think as well, what really helped is I was almost like on squats, I was kind of like trying to hype myself up a little bit, and I'm not a hyped lifter, and I know this, I'm experienced enough to know this, but I was almost trying to hype myself up because I felt so tired going in. I thought that was the only way I was going to get through it. But for bench, I just literally put some pop songs on and like cheesy pop from when I was a kid, and I just perked up, got in a better mood and just enjoyed it, and it went really well. So kind of need to remember that that is when I train best, when I'm just kind of distracted by either around people, like when I train in a gym with people there that I can just chat to and just try, sort of chat shit the whole time. Like my best comps are when I'm just chatting shit all day. And then when I'm home alone, I don't have the option to chat to people. I just put like fun music on and just like mess about and dance and sing and just get distracted by what I'm doing, if I'm, or like, get distracted from what I'm doing. Can't talk. So yeah, bench, I can't be upset about that. Like, I am, because I obviously want everything to move incredibly quickly. One thing I also said to myself, after my second back off set of 5, when it was still quite difficult, I went to set up for my third, and I looked at the whiteboard where I've got the British records written down, and I looked at the bench, which is 125 kilos at the moment, although I don't think it's going to be that for much longer. I think it will get broken at the Arnold's next month. But yeah, it's within reach. And I literally looked at it and I was like, it's these sessions and these grindy reps that are going to make that happen for me at some point in the next year, 18 months, however long it takes. And I was just looking at it and I was like, that is so close to what I'm doing. I can do that. I've still got 4 months till I compete as well. Like, I can get close to that and I can beat that at some point, and I fully believe that. So yeah, that kind of gave me like a kind of boost of energy, I think, for the last couple of sets. And set 3 was actually by far the quickest, so like it actually wasn't grindy at all. The other 3 sets were quite grindy, but the third set was so easy. So yeah, I'm happy. Well, I'm not happy, but I know I should be happy, so it's fine. Also talking very quickly, sorry. But yeah, gonna set up for deadlifts now and get them done. I think it's like just gone 9. I did have a bit of a sit down and chat to my parents between squats and bench, just because I felt so tired. I was like, I need to just chill out before I bench. So time is ticking on. But I've got plenty of time to get deadlifts done. Like, I like to be finished by 10ish, and I've got like 45 minutes to do 3 sets of deadlifts. I think I'm gonna be all right, and hopefully I can leave here in good time and get home and eat and get to sleep very early. Well, not early, but early-ish compared to normal. Yeah, gonna crack on.
Things we know, we will keep on falling down, but I won't let go.
Okay, so I just got home. I'm so happy with deadlifts. So my best ever set of 5 is technically 160. I'll put it up on the screen. It is from September, and it is the last time my back flared up, like my lower back, when I was having issues with that before. So it was like RPE10. It was the misgroove on the last rep is what caused the back issue, but my back wasn't good, I don't think. So essentially, that was the last time I hit 160 for a set of 5. I just hit 160 for 3 sets of 5, and the focus has absolutely not been on deadlifts since that time my back flared up, because I've essentially just been gradually building volume and bringing it back. Like, deadlift has been on the complete back burner, and I've just done 3 sets of 5 at 160, and it was super comfortable. Like, it was a lot more comfortable than the 155 last week that I did for 3 sets of 5. So session, bearing in mind I wasn't having a great session, ended on the best note. So yeah, I'm very, very happy. I'm gonna wrap this part of the video up here. I am gonna film a bit more of a Q&A again tomorrow, so I'll put that in this video as well. But I need to get in and eat and get to sleep. So it has been a very good session, and I will see you in the next clip with a bit of a Q&A as well. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm going to go through a few questions that I've had sent in on my Instagram. I did this in last Friday's video as well. I'm probably going to keep doing this in a Friday video. Just like a little mini Q&A. Like, I don't want to do a full sit-down Q&A because that can get very boring very fast. But I just thought, like, I always put a box up on my Instagram like once a week or so. And I never actually get around to answering them on Instagram. I think I prefer talking, and I don't like talking on my Instagram stories, even though I'm literally talking to a camera right now. But I thought I'd save them all for YouTube videos, so I'm kind of just getting a little bit of a backlog, but I'm just only going to answer the ones that I think are kind of worth answering, and a lot of the ones I get in do overlap as well. But I got one sent in actually on yesterday's story that I really loved, and I think it fits in well with this video because of how last night's session went. So one girl sent in a question asking for any tips on getting into the focused headspace before lifts. To be honest, I am still not the best at this. I think the most important thing you can do is figure out what type of lifter you are. I think when I got into the sport, and a lot of the local lifters that I trained with at the time, they were very like, you have to scream before you hit a heavy set, you have to yell, you have to get angry, you have to get aggressive, you have to let that adrenaline out. And I never did that because I was always too embarrassed to make noise. But obviously as time's gone on and more people have come into the sport, I've met more people, and just there's more info out there, you do also learn that some people, like for a lot of people, that doesn't work at all. Like, that just drains energy, if anything. There's like a peak level of arousal, but everyone will get on like differently. Everyone has different methods. So like for myself, for example, I know for a fact that I am the best lifter when I'm not really focused on lifting. Like, I don't think about the set that I'm about to do until I am under the bar. So like for squats, for example, yesterday, I knew it was going to be heavy and it wasn't going to feel incredible. So I kind of tried to hype myself up, and I had a terrible set. And I think it's because I tried to force something that isn't me. And I think competitions last year as well provide a perfect example of that, of where like I'm trying to get myself in this like focused, kind of almost stimulated mindset, ready to attack these big numbers. And I know at the British last year in March, I think that's one of the reasons I had a terrible day, or not terrible day, but I didn't have a good day, is because it was this really big, serious competition. It was my first British since I was a junior, and I really wanted to go in and make an impact. And obviously I didn't have a good day. But I was almost trying, like I had my headphones in between each lift, and I was trying to really focus and get myself kind of worked up to the point where I could execute these weights. But that doesn't work for me. So at the next comp I did, Manchester Open in August, I just did complete opposite. I didn't wear my headphones once. I had them in case I felt like I needed to kind of relax and get out of the way. But I didn't wear my headphones once. I literally was just stood chatting shit with my handler, and then also just the other coaches backstage. I was just literally talking like shit between lifts, between attempts, between warm-ups, like the whole day. It was just relaxed, have fun, talk, mess around with friends, like almost forget I'm an athlete, forget I'm competing, and just have fun. And then it's only that split second where I'm on the platform where I'm like, oh, I better give this a go now. Get under the bar. Obviously take it seriously when I'm under the bar, but that's kind of it. And I think, basically to answer the question, you have to find what your level of arousal is, what your best kind of stimulation, what your best mood, I guess, is for lifting, because you might just be a lifter that doesn't really have to think about it, that doesn't really have to get focused. You don't necessarily have to fully focus and have intention before you're even under the bar. Like when I'm under the bar, I know I have no choice but to get it done, and that's where my focus comes in. But I'm not someone that's going to stand backstage and visualize the lift over and over again before I go and do it, because to me that provides too much stimulation, and it kind of, one, drains my energy just thinking about it too much, but also it, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. And I think you have to kind of work out what you mean by getting focused for a lift. Like if you've got outside stresses going on that are distracting from your session, there's nothing you can really do to just flick a switch and turn that off. But then at the same time, for a lot of people, training is your switch. Like training is that thing that you're so, like when I'm under a heavy squat bar, I'm not thinking about anything else going on in my life at the time. I'm thinking about, oh shit, I need to do this. So yeah, I don't know if it actually answers the question very well or not, but basically, let me load it back up. Any tips of getting into the focused headspace before lifts? Just find out what works for you. So you might not feel like you're focused going into sets because people that you train around are the type to scream and yell and do all these things. Because for years, and I've had people tell me this before, like I kind of felt like I wasn't taking it seriously enough. And the reason I wasn't doing well is because I wasn't doing all of these things to get myself in the mindset to lift. But actually from experience and from years of just like learning what works for me and figuring out like what training sessions go better than others and making notes on things and documenting things, I'm not that sort of lifter. Like if you see me on comp day, you're going to think I am just not focused at all. Like I've had handlers of other lifters make comments before about how like I really don't take competition seriously enough. But for me, that's how I have my best sessions and competitions. Like I think if you're making progress as you are, you probably don't really need to change anything, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Find what works for you. Maybe you are the sort of lifter that has this huge buildup of like adrenaline and anxiety, and you need to release some of that to be able to do the lift. Like I think Bobby Butters is a really good example. She's spoken about it before. Like she's a very loud lifter. She's a very screamy lifter, and it's incredible to watch. And she says it's almost like, I think she said it's like letting out a bit of that kind of anxiety to then help with the lift and get yourself like in that level of arousal to complete the lift, which completely makes sense. But for some people, that just doesn't work. So yeah, answer to the question is getting into a focused headspace. I think, one, you're not going to be able to focus. I'm really not answering this head on. You're not always going to have a focused session or be in a focused headspace, because life is life, and some sessions you're going to probably go in with a lot more on your mind than others. But generally, like, I think by this question you kind of mean getting into the zone for the lift. Just figure out what works for you. You might not need to get into an actual zone. It might just be like, if you go into a lift thinking, oh, I really can't be bothered, that's a problem. But if you go into a lift thinking, right, I'm just going to do this, and that's all, because that's all I think when I go into a set. I don't think, right, you've got to execute, you've got to do this, you've got to work really hard, you've got to put everything into this. I literally look at the bar, I'm like, right, you can do this, you've just got to get under the bar and get it done. In a really calm manner as well. Like, that's literally how I say it to myself. And that's kind of it. So I don't know if I've actually answered this question or not. I feel like I've just gone a bit of a tangent. But I also feel like it's quite fitting, because in yesterday's session, like I briefly kind of mentioned before I went on a tangent again, that's kind of how I was with squats. I was trying to force this hype that I don't have, I don't need, that doesn't work for me. I then put girly pop on for bench and deadlifts, and they went phenomenally well, because I stopped taking it as seriously. I took the like intensity out of the session and out like the pressure, I guess, out, and I just had fun, and everything went better. So it might just be that you're not feeling like you're getting focused because you're trying to force something that you're not as a lifter, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I've definitely beaten around the bush too much with that answer, but hopefully that's somewhat helpful to people watching. I'm probably only going to answer that one question because I did go on such a tangent. Also, the lighting in this room is not the one, but it's fine. It's very dark outside and our lights aren't very good. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there for this week. If you have any questions you want me to answer, feel free to comment them down below or go on my Instagram and when I put a Q&A box up, obviously you can put them in there or you can message me questions. Anything is fine. I don't mind. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. And I will see you on Monday for the next one. If I make it to Monday, because I've got a very busy weekend ahead. But you'll see all about that next week.